stepping outside ourselves and like, our own little subjective reality and make an effort to see and understand what's going on in the world. The earth changes are increasing, and the time is really now. 2012 is about now. It's a time era, not just one date. This is a crop circle. Everybody has familiar with crop circles. These are very fascinating patterns and circles that appear mostly in England on fields, and they literally appear overnight. And I don't know if you can see in the middle as a humans, this is a huge circle. And they're becoming more and more complex, and there's no way, humans can do that. You cannot replicate that. It's impossible. It's even hard to draw it on paper. And this is massive. And all the stems in the circle, they're not broken. They're bent perfectly in the 90 degrees. And none is broken, and over time they rise up again. So there's a lot of, why don't we hear that in the news? And it's like, oh no, it's, it's better to, hear about LeBron, whatever his name is. This is, nobody's talking about this in the mainstream news. So it's, again, where do we get our information from? Well, from all the prophecies, what's going on, the one I want to focus on a little bit is the Hopi Prophecies. And this is the famous Hopi rock, the stone with the Hopi Prophecy on it, which dates back to pre-Columbian days. And I'm not going to explain it myself, but I have a little 4-minute video that will explain it. I think I'm Angel. Am I hooked up here?
Yeah, you are.
I am. Can I just play it?
Yeah.
When the ashes drop, you will know the end of the world. Which warns, when the gourd of ashes drops, you will know the end of the world is near. The Hopi elders believed the atom bomb to be that very gourd of ashes, for in 1948 they held a tribunal, appointing a guardian of their prophecies. Prophecies set in stone by distant ancestors and covered with the dust of time. The man chosen? Thomas Banyanka.
It's been there for a long time. They knew about destroying, but no one knew it was here.
Thomas Banyanka is the keeper of the carvings. It was he who uncovered the prophecies etched in stone after they lay hidden for many years.
So I wrapped this. So I was the one that cleaned this mess up and started drawing, and I was so surprised.
Thomas Banyanka is one of several Hopi elders who is entrusted with the pre-Columbian prophecy that has a series of final warnings to be told to the world before what is called the Great Purification by Fire. Either it can be a fire of nuclear war and greenhouse global warming, or it can be a fire of inner consciousness.
In the Four Corners region of Arizona, the ancient Hopi Prophecy rock looms, chronicling the destiny of mankind in Hopi hieroglyphics, leading towards what some fear is inevitable extinction.
This figure represents the Great Spirit or guardian of this land that we came on, this earth, what we call now the Mother Earth.
In the first figure carved by the Hopi ancients, the Great Spirit or Creator meets man. The Creator then gave man the sacred circle, a promised life of peace and plenty if, and only if, man would follow the spiritual path. While the brown man waited, the white man traveled the earth on a mission to spread the spiritual circle and return with knowledge.
He was supposed to bring this, but instead he brought a symbol of a cross, they said. It's on here, cross.
Breaking away from the Native American people, the white man now traveled the path of materialism and invention, as shown by these three figures on the Rock of Prophecy.
I always say that first figure represents a first invention like wagon pulled by animals. And later the second one representing advancements in inventions. He brought automobiles that run by itself. Then the third one represents also advancements, inventions, scientific things, and now they have rode up in the sky.
With the invention of the aeroplane, the white man now commanded the land, sea, and sky. And just as the Hopi Prophecy rock appears to predict, this thirst for power led to two devastating events, World War I and World War II.
There's a mine down over here, and that's where we are today. And the zigzag light represents up there big nations. Powerful nations put their military might together and kill thousands of women, children, animals, birds. We have now come into last little circle above the line, which is, they said, maybe the beginning of Third World War.
And so, as the Hopi Prophecy goes, we find ourselves at the crossroads with the fate of the entire race of man hanging on one all-important question. Do we return to the sacred circle and a life of harmony and abundance? Or do we take the jagged road, leading us further and further from the spiritual path?
If that happens, according to Hopi Prophecy, the purification by fire will immediately commence.
These chilling words place us precariously close to the edge. Will civilization end in a holocaust of flame?
They're not going to save the world. They're not going to bring peace and justice. They're going to destroy the world. That's what old people say. So it'll just end with gourd full of ashes. The whole world, all living things will be destroyed. There'll be nothing left on this earth. Everything will burn up.
Logic, reason, just plain common sense, all argue that seeing into the future is impossible.
So what the Hopi Prophecies is talking about is reflected in many other teachings as well. And again, it's not about fear-mongering or the world is going to end, but this is an opportunity we're in right now. These are very precious times, and that's why I'm thank Angel for, giving the opportunity to let me speak or maybe make more people aware, and, I always enjoy engaging dialogue, but it really comes down to it comes down to ourselves. Because what's happening in the world, it has happened before. When you look into ancient history, and anybody who's more familiar with Atlantis, there's a reality to it too. There's, if the plan, the divine plan is not, being manifested and people don't act as they were supposed to act, basically what's happening, the reset button is being pushed. And here in the Gnostic teachings as well, mirroring what the Hopi said, talking about this time and age. With the approach of the era of the Holy Spirit, everything must be gradually brought to the light of day. Not only the secrets of the laboratory, but the deepest meanings of esotericism. The same must happen with illusions, errors, and lies, which must also be revealed so they can later be rectified. The world is suffering from a lack of harmony, which gets deep on every plane, and this is a serious danger to the moral and spiritual recovery of humanity. It also involves a serious risk of failure in the last stage of this time of transition that we are now entering. If the risk is not overcome, the deluge of fire awaits us. We will have to make an immense effort to ward off this fate, and we have very little time in which to do it. Man has only himself to blame for the greatness of the effort needed. This is a result of his obstinate refusal to heed the warning that have been addressed to him time and again by the divine voice, just as he continues today to blind himself to the fact that the deluge of fire is being made ready. And fire, as he mentioned there, or the Hopi, it doesn't have to mean literally fire. There's many other ways the world can go down. And as I said before, the earth changes that are happening and all the miseries happening in the world is a manifestation and result of our refusal to see ourselves in the world more objectively. The more we really work on ourselves, cut through the lies and within ourselves, cut through the lies outside and confront the dark literally within and without, the more easier we make it for ourselves, for others, and for everybody else in the transition. So it really comes down to each individual of us. It's not about anybody else here. And last but not least, here's a really another great quote from the Ra Sessions, which is a very profound channeled material, Law of One, which came out around in the 80s. And mirroring again the same core message. there's a choice to be made very shortly, and it would be preferable if all of the people of this planet understand the choice is to be made. It will be difficult for many of the people of this planet to understand what this choice is, because it is a choice that they have not considered. They have been much too involved in their daily activities, in their confusion and their desires of a very tribal nature. A very tribal nature to be concerned with an understanding of the choice that they are very shortly to make. Whether they wish to or not, whether they understand it or not, regardless of any influence, each and every one of the people who dwell upon planet Earth will shortly make a choice. There will be no middle era. There will be those who will show us the path of love and light, which light is essentially knowledge and understanding, and those who choose otherwise. This choice will not be made by saying, I choose the path of love and light, or do not choose it. The verbal choice will mean nothing. This choice will be measured by the individual's demonstration of his choice. This choice is measured by what we term the vibratory rate of the individual, frequency in other words. It is necessary if an individual is to join those who make the choice of love and understanding for his right of vibration to be above a certain minimum level. And that again, what the whole transition is about. It's about raising our frequency, raising our awareness, and you raise frequency in your vibration by becoming more aware, which implies again striving towards more objective understanding of yourself and the world, and get our own little subjective tunnel vision here. So the time is now. The time is speeding up. A lot of things will happen in the coming years, 5 to 10 years, which it will take a lot of people by surprise, and it's all about preparing ourselves and really to create community, to come together to talk about these things and be around like-minded people and raise awareness in any way we can, so we can get rid of any of these imposed identifications of nations, whatever, but recognize our humanity of all, in our common ground here. And if there's one thing I can suggest to do in general is, please. There's no reason to watch TV at all. Nada. Watch movies here and there, but TV is probably the biggest mind control instrument that is out there in the world. And, I can only speak for myself. I haven't watched or owned a TV in over 15 years, and it's the best thing that happened in my life. Read a book instead, make art, do music, play with your children, anything. Be creative, go out to nature, create community, hang out, talk with other people, meditate, do yoga, anything.
Facebook.
Have Facebook.